This week on Ebert and Roeper, Tom Cruise gets entangled with Cameron Diaz and Penelope Cruz in Vanilla Sky.
Also, Jim Carrey gets a new identity in the Majestic.
And Russell Crowe goes from the depths of despair to find that he's got a beautiful mind.
Manhattan traffic is a nightmare, but absolutely no traffic is more of a nightmare for Tom Cruise in Vanilla Sky. It's one of 6 big holiday movies we'll review this week. I'm Richard Roeper.
And I'm Roger Ebert. Vanilla Sky is one of those mind game thrillers where neither the audience nor the characters can be quite sure what constitutes reality. The movie's sensational opening shot in a deserted Times Square is only a dream, but what else is not what it seems? Tom Cruise stars as a whiz-kid publisher who's having an affair with Cameron Diaz when he falls in love at first sight with Penelope Cruz. She's with his best friend, but hey, what are friends for?
David Ames. And to what do I owe this pleasure?
The pleasure of Sofia Serrano.
We met today at the library, if you can believe that.
He doesn't think his new romance will be a problem since he and Cameron Diaz are only good friends. Diaz sees it a little differently.
When did you stop caring, David?
Slow down, Julie.
When you sleep with someone, your body makes a promise whether you do or not. Do you believe in God?
The tale of the publisher's life and loves is intercut with a mysterious parallel story in which he stands accused of murder. Kurt Russell conducts a court-appointed interrogation.
4 weeks, the judge will determine your fate, but you will talk to me.
There is no murder.
After seeing Vanilla Sky, I knew I had to see it again, and I did, and I played with different notes and nuances the second time. What's impressive is how the performances by Tom Cruise, Penelope Cruz, and Cameron Diaz create an emotional reality even with all the confusion swirling around them. It's like a realistic movie exists inside the other stuff. The film was directed by Cameron Crowe based on the Alejandro Amenabar Spanish film named Open Your Eyes that also starred Penelope Cruz. And let me just ask one question. Is there something about the first 3 words of Vanilla Sky that calls into question every single other thing that happens in the entire film? Listen carefully and decide for yourself.
Yeah, you're right. You have to start paying attention really from the start, and there are some other clues throughout this movie, images on television screens, and it all comes together beautifully. This is a spectacular film. I saw the original, and that's sort of like the acoustic version, and this is the full orchestrated version, but Cameron Crowe does a wonderful job of lacing this all together, and you're so right about how the characters stay true to the moments they're in, so we're not really sure what's going on all the way through. I found it to be fascinating.
It's kind of a footnote for Tom Cruise to Eyes Wide Shut, the Stanley Kubrick picture. It involves a mask. It involves infidelities. It involves mystery about exactly what reality consists of. But it's more in the tradition, I think, of movies like Mulholland Drive, where you really have to think back after you've seen it to figure out what happened.
A lot of the best movies we've seen this year play around with dreams and what's real and what's not. Waking Life is another one, obviously. And this one, you know, Tom Cruise is probably the biggest movie star in the world. You got to give him credit for doing movies like Magnolia and Eyes Wide Shut, not just the Mission Impossibles, which he does as well and makes the big money, but to do, you know, to put his power behind a movie like this to get people to see it.
Early in his career, he knew that there was a danger he would just be a matinee idol, and so he started right away doing pictures like Born on the 4th of July, and he continues to look for these challenges.
He should get nominated here, and several other people should as well. Okay, our next movie is Kate and Leopold, which requires a great leap of faith, not because it's a time-traveling romance, but because once again, we have to believe Meg Ryan is a lifetime loser in love. She plays Kate, and this is the 6th time in her career she's played a Catherine or a Kate or a Kay or a Kathleen in films. She's also been a Maggie 3 times, an Annie, and of course a Sally. But really, she's always Meg, the adorable moppet with a horrible track record when it comes to men.
We found the portal.
A portal into April 28th, 1876. I jumped off the Brooklyn Bridge and took a walk in 1876 today.
That's Liev Schreiber as Kate's ex, Stuart, who lives just above her. Hugh Jackman is Stuart's great-great-grandfather, a 19th century nobleman who turns up in modern-day New York.
That, sir, is not New York.
I'm afraid it is. So you must be Sergeant Pepper?
Kate thinks Leopold is nuts, but she's charmed by his quaint and noble ways.
Why are you standing?
I'm accustomed to stand when a lady leaves the table.
Like the Back to the Future movies, Kate and Leopold involves a folding of the generational space-time continuum that defies logic. But whereas Marty McFly was able to avoid mashing with his mom, Stuart has had a 4-year relationship with Kate, which means that if she ends up with Leopold, she'd be Stuart's great-great-grandmother, I think, which is kind of disgusting. But I'm still recommending Kate and Leopold for its lovely romance and for the never-ending charm of Meg Ryan, whether she's playing a Kate, a Catherine, a Kay, or a Kathleen.
Meg Ryan does this sort of thing about as well as it can be done, and that's why it doesn't bother me that she's done it 6 times before. I mean, like Arnold Schwarzenegger looks great with a big machine gun, and Meg Ryan looks terrific when she's unlucky in love. I mean, she's so lovable in this film, and actually, it's not, you're right about the paradoxes, but it's not really about time travel at all.
No.
It's about manners. Here is a guy from the 19th century who is a gentleman and who treats a woman as if she's a lady. And this comes as such a stunning shock to a modern girl who lives in New York that for a long time she does think he's crazy because he's not a slob like everybody else she knows.
And Hugh Jackman does a real nice job of playing that character. Because you're right, we've seen all this stuff before where the guy from the past puts on the remote control and he's frightened by television and stereo in the wacky way of the world. We've seen all that before done.
He's pretty cool when he gets to the modern time.
He can go with it. So I like this a lot. Okay.
Okay, coming up later, Russell Crowe plays a brilliant scientist who's also a schizophrenic in A Beautiful Mind. And coming up next, echoes of Frank Capra in The Majestic, starring Jim Carrey.
You have no idea who you are or how you got here?
Blank.
They're saying that you attended those meetings while you were in college. Is that wrong, Peter? Who's they?
Congress, FBI, red channels.
In the opening scenes of The Majestic, Jim Carrey is an ambitious Hollywood screenwriter who will compromise on anything if it will help his career. Then he's named as a possible communist sympathizer and risks losing everything unless he humbles himself before a congressional committee. Driving up the coast to clear his mind, he's in a crash, loses his memory, and ends up in a small town where he's embraced as Luke, a local boy who supposedly died in the war.
I never gave up hoping. Oh, my God. Oh, God. Luke, my boy.
That's Martin Landau as Luke's father, the owner of the Majestic, a local movie theater now closed. Not quite so convinced as Laurie Holden as the girl who was once engaged to the lost soldier.
I'm trying to make up my own mind about you being Luke.
Join the club. So what do you think?
Jury's still out.
It's a Wonderful Life, but then the real world closes in and Carrie must face the House Un-American Activities Committee. The Majestic was directed by Frank Darabont, who made The Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile, and this is another very human American story, one that deliberately evokes the patriotic films of Frank Capra, and it's worthy of the Capra heroes played by Gary Cooper and Jimmy Stewart. But also like Capra, the politics come surrounded by comedy, human nature, and a love story. Laurie Holden is heartbreaking as a woman who has to choose between what's good for the town and what's right for her. And Jim Carrey somehow manages to be a hero without ever taking himself too seriously. He's sort of like Jimmy Stewart.
Jim Carrey's really good in this, and you're right. I mean, it's a Frank Capra film. They might as well have done it in black and white and called the town Bedford Falls. It's one of those self-contained movie towns where, you know, everybody knows everybody else.
They all hang out at the diner.
And you ever notice when characters have amnesia in the movies, they're always nicer when they've got amnesia than the character they play. They never come to and are mean and ornery, and you think they would be because something has to happen to them to have amnesia. I thought the film was a little bit too long. That's my one criticism, but I really do like it a lot, and I thought Laurie Holden was an inspired casting choice. I don't know her from a lot of movies, and it was fresh just as it was for Jim Carrey as he's trying to remember and reconnect with who he supposedly was in the past.
Well, Darabont likes to go long, and what I like here is that there is a lot to cover. The opening stuff in Hollywood, then the whole village scene, and then the climax. There are a lot of changes here, a lot of issues, a lot of characters who are well developed. It's a story that takes its time in the way that movies used to before everything had to be done for attention deficit syndrome.
I thought it could have been a little tighter, but I am recommending it.
Okay, coming up next, Oscar winner Russell Crowe is back on screen in A Beautiful Mind.
You are the best natural code breaker I have ever seen.
And looking ahead to next week's openings, we'll review The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring.
You shall not pass!
Ash, Taking a reverse constitutional.
I'm hoping to extract an algorithm to define their movement.
Oh. Psycho.
Russell Crowe is a Princeton math genius obsessed with coming up with a truly original idea to ensure his legacy in A Beautiful Mind. This is one of the very best movies of the year, with Crowe giving a wonderfully textured performance as John Forbes Nash Jr., who won the Nobel Prize in Economic Science in 1994, despite suffering from schizophrenia, an incurable and degenerative condition. Jennifer Connelly plays a student who catches Nash's eye.
Excuse me! Excuse me!
Hey!
Hi. We have a little problem. It's extremely hot in here with the windows closed and extremely noisy with them open. So I was wondering if there's any way you could, I don't know, maybe work someplace else for about 45 minutes?
With the Cold War looming in the 50s, Nash's code-breaking abilities are coveted by a Department of Defense operative played by Ed Harris.
Oppenheimer used to say genius sees the answer before the question.
You knew Oppenheimer?
This project was under my supervision.
Which project? That project.
Ron Howard directed A Beautiful Mind, and it might be his most accomplished work yet. This isn't a docudrama. It's an original story inspired by a few key events in Nash's actual life. Screenwriter Akiva Goldsman has fashioned a powerful narrative that's brought to life by this outstanding cast and Howard's assured direction. Even the makeup in this film is Oscar caliber as Crowe ages from a young man to his 70s. A Beautiful Mind is a biography and a thriller and a character study and a romance, and it should garner multiple nominations for the cast and for the artist behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah, this is, for Russell Crowe, a career peak. It's right up there with The Insider. I think it's kind of a shame that he won the Oscar for The Gladiator, which is certainly not work on this level.
Yeah.
This is a great movie. And unlike a lot of movies about mental illness, which go for sensational aspects, this film really tries to deal with this man who is kind of shy and not very good in society, and very brilliant, and who does have these strange hallucinations, but who tries to deal with them. He's smart enough that he tries to work through his own illness. And he wins the Nobel Prize. And there's that great scene where they send a guy, played by Austin Pendleton, to size him up. And he says, I know why you're here. You're here to see if I'm crazy, and I'm going to screw up the ceremony.
Can we put him in front of the committee? Yeah, all the small parts in this movie played by people like Judd Hirsch, who's really good. Ed Harris, who has a larger role, is excellent in this. And yeah, I mean, there are moments in this film that just kind of pin you back in your seat because you didn't know what was going to happen. And when you find out, you feel for the characters. And Jennifer Connelly, also really strong in this film.
Our next movie is another biography named Iris, and it focuses on the life and death, especially the death, of the British novelist Iris Murdoch, who died in 1999 of Alzheimer's. Murdoch wrote 26 novels, and I've read all but one of them. She wrote about extended families, outsiders, children, animals, and about the search for goodness and meaning in life. Her books portrayed worlds of ideas and long-lasting, sometimes troubled friendships. The film focuses on her marriage with the British professor, John Bailey.
What are your rooms like?
Adequate, thank you.
I'd like to see them.
That's Kate Winslet as young Iris and Hugh Bonneville as young John. She was a racy young woman, and he was in training to become an eccentric, absent-minded professor. He was shy, she was bold, and they were a good match.
I'm a rather late starter. My brother used to have to tie my shoelaces for me till I was 7. I don't know if... I do.
The couple is played in later life by Judi Dench and Jim Broadbent. They live alone in an untidy house, focusing on their work. Gradually, she discovers that her mind is failing her.
What is the name of the Prime Minister?
Oh, me? Are you asking me?
Yes, I am.
I don't know. Ask John. Surely it doesn't matter.
Okay, well, no, not really.
I've got a lot of ideas, but they won't come together.
Iris is based on memoirs by Professor Bailey, who says he approves of the film. I do not. It's a sad irony that only one of Murdoch's novels has ever been filmed, and instead we get talents like Dench, Broadbent, and Winslet in the story of her confusion and decline. She was a gifted, formidable woman, a great woman, and she doesn't deserve to be shown in such a limited way. For that matter, judging by this film, you never guess that John Bailey is a great literary critic. She comes across as pathetic, and he comes across as a doddering incompetent. And that isn't true. Because I love Iris Murdoch's work, this movie really hurt.
Well, I think it succeeds at what it is, though, and it's telling two stories, the story of a very young Iris Murdoch and the story of her last sad years. Yeah, she's sad and pathetic. Well, guess what? That's got to be the reality. She was losing control of her thoughts. She couldn't even remember that she was a writer, and I think they do a beautiful job of showing that here. If you want to see movies based on her books, that's fine, but that's not what this movie's trying to be.
Yeah, but come on. Now, here we have, it doesn't have to be about Iris Murdoch. There's a young girl, she falls in love. Later on, she gets Alzheimer's and she dies. Her husband grows older and tries to take care of her.
Oh, you're not giving this movie credit. It does a lot more than that. It shows how they met. It shows their romance. It shows the problems they have.
The movie does not deal with the fact that it's about Iris Murdoch.
Well, I think it is.
Iris Murdoch was a very...
Of course it is.
It's like the John Nash movie had not made him a mathematician.
No, it'd be as
he just meets Jennifer Connelly and then he goes...
No, that's not fair at all. That's not fair at all, Roger. They show her writing in this movie. They show her at the typewriter. They show her as a young woman getting her novel published, and they show her as an old woman.
It's easy enough to show somebody writing, but it doesn't make her into a writer.
I think this movie does a wonderful job of going back and forth. You know, you see Kate Winslet, who does a terrific job. Judi Dench is excellent.
This is not the right way to represent what Iris Murdoch
You've got issues with other things other than this
Well,
movie.
I do.
All right, coming up next, some big-name Hollywood heartthrobs are sent up in Not Another Teen Movie.
Well, then you better bring it.
Oh, it's already been brought.
Next is yet another teen movie, but this one is a parody of teen movies, which is why it's called Not Another Teen Movie. It's stupid, it's obvious, it's scatological and violent, but it made me laugh, and I'm giving it thumbs up. God help me. Maybe it's because I'm tired of all those Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. films about wallflowers who become knockouts just by taking off their glasses and shaking free of their ponytails, and jocks who make ridiculous wagers.
I'm gonna pick the most hopeless girl at this school, and I'm gonna bet that you can't turn her into prom queen. You're on.
Not Another Teen Movie references dozens of coming-of-age films, including The Breakfast Club.
I don't want to hear it, mister. You just bought yourself another detention. Don't mess with a bull, young man. You get the horns.
I'm shaking.
You just got another.
Good.
You had enough yet?
No.
That's another one.
So?
You just say the word, I'll keep going.
Go.
Eeny, meeny, miny,
mo.
And that's Paul Gleason reprising his role from the John Hughes film. Randy Quaid is the horrifyingly unfit father to the shy girl who gets the makeover. She's played by Kyler Lee.
Congratulations, you just got your first slow-motion entrance.
If you haven't seen Varsity Blues, American Pie, Pretty in Pink, She's All That, Cruel Intentions, etc., 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 the jokes in Not Another Teen Movie will fall flat. And even if you've seen all those films, as I have, not everything works. Some gags just made me gag. But the cast of Relative Unknowns tears into this material without shame, and they're just as good as the young stars they're lampooning. The makers of Not Another Teen Movie are shooting fish in a barrel, but they're fish who deserve to be shot.
I can't quite give a thumbs up. You know, in a way, these movies satirize themselves.
Yeah.
And Scary Movie did a very, and Scary Movie 2, did a very good job of satirizing that genre. So in a way, this movie comes to a genre that is already aware of its own shortcomings. And it wasn't to me that funny.
I don't know, Roger. When Freddie Prinze Jr. is making those movies, I don't know if they know they're making fun of those movies. I think he's pretty sincere when he's got those cow eyes and he's looking at the girl and the music is swelling.
The audience knows to laugh, you know, like,
maybe
will he date the sex pot, or will he go to the prom with the girl next door who he never noticed?
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen. And in this movie, a lot of the stuff doesn't work. For example, the opening pre-title sequence, which is so distasteful, I can't mention it on TV, isn't funny. I mean, it could have been made funny. They don't know how to deal with it, how to develop it, how to time it. It's not funny.
It was not a
other
promising
scenes like
beginning.
that fall flat, including the obligatory excretory flood.
Well, that's like when I talk about the gags that made me gag. But I have, you know, I laughed out loud. Like I said at the beginning, God help me, I did laugh at this enough to recommend it.
Okay, well, he may, because I don't think I can. We'll be right back.
Join Ebert Roeper's second annual Film Festival at Sea. With sneak previews of the hottest new movies, everyone becomes a film critic. Roger and Richard sail to the Bahamas and Disney's Castaway Cay, February 28th through March 3rd, aboard the Disney Wonder. Ebert Roeper's Film Festival at Sea. Call your travel agent or 1-800-945-3806.
Okay, recapping this week's worth of holiday movies. 2 thumbs up for Vanilla Sky. 2 thumbs up for Kate and Leopold. It opens next week. 2 more thumbs up for The Majestic. It also opens next week. 2 big thumbs up for A Beautiful Mind, opening next week. A split decision on Iris, and another split decision for Not Another Teen Movie.
Remember, you can hear our reviews at ebertandroper.tv and read us in print at suntimes.com. Next week, we'll be back with Will Smith in Ali, and until then, the balcony is closed.
You know, the problem with saying that a movie is long is that everybody says, oh, it's a long movie, and I don't understand that because no good movie is too long, and no bad movie is short enough.
No, sometimes a movie can be good, but it's still a little bit too long, and I got a little bit restless about 3/4 of the way through The Majestic.
The Majestic really involved me.
Facts of Life by Lysol. Fact. It's cough and cold season. Fact. Lysol spray helps stop the spread of the cold virus. Life demands Lysol. That's a fact.
These babies were conceived using the Clear Plan Easy Fertility Monitor. It identifies more fertile days each cycle than any leading method. Clear Plan, clear results.
Christy lost 84 pounds in 12 weeks with clinically proven Zinedrin. Zinedrin is the #1 selling diet supplement in America because it works. Available at GNC.
Closed captioning for Ebert and Roeper is brought to you by...
Quick, do it with Quick Braid. It twists, braids automatically. Snap on the beads and get the look. Double quick. Double strand braids with Quick Braid from Conair.